All right, everybody, welcome on back here this Thursday afternoon, February 10th, shortly after 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Great to see Norman joining us back inside our live trading room, alongside hopefully a bunch of others. I know it's been a kind of a more quiet afternoon, at least heading into 2:30. Great to see Leda and Michael as well, loud and clear from them, loud and clear from all of us. Otherwise, right now, Bruno, Skip, Mike, Chuck, Phil, loud and clear from all. What's going on, asks Chuck. I'll tell you what's going on, Chuck. A big drop off in the market. We ended up seeing right around like 12:30, 1 o'clock Eastern time, a big drop, at least on the S&P ETF there, the SPY. But it's pretty interesting. Like I wasn't expecting really the drop to happen right then and there. But I'm actually still on the same two trades that I've been short on across the afternoon, Uber and AMC. And I was simply saying, at least right at that exact time, I was like, if the markets drop off, I would anticipate AMC to make a bigger drop with it, given how much it had ran up. In so many words I had said that, but it was literally right at that exact 1 minute where we ended up seeing the drop off on the SPY. And with that, well, it's been red since. TWOU's been red since 4 a.m. So let's start with this stock, which is on the screen here. It's actually breaking all-time lows. I didn't realize that up until like the late morning, the early afternoon. TWOU is not necessarily like a familiar name or a side list stock as much. It is one that trades millions of shares on a day-to-day, so it easily could be, a side list stock to watch at some point. But, the thing that I remember about this stock before we even go into the intraday move, go back on my daily chart here, but it's to say that normally off of like, earnings, good earnings, bad earnings, even with guidance, so forth, just to say, stocks typically make anywhere between like a 10 to 20% move off of earnings. That's a generalized range, right? I remember this like the back of my hand. It's hard to forget moves like this, but back, whenever this was, at least, July, August of 19, TWOU came out with earnings that they ended up dropping off as much as 66% in pre-market that morning, and only continued to drop off through the day. So just it's for that reason alone as to why this stock will always kind of ring a bell to me, and it's for that reason why this morning, at least when we saw it on the losers list early this morning, hey, history has a tendency to repeat itself, right? So we ended up seeing TWOU drop from the market open today. I'm pretty simple short as soon as the market opened up. Actually, so simple to the point where it didn't have any sort of retracement really to it. It ended up just dropping off, ended up continuing to pull back towards 10. It effortlessly broke under 10 heading into the afternoon. Chuck's, oh, that's right, Chuck. That's right. Andrea is short on this stock, I think, isn't he still? He was short from 1150 when the market opened up. So if he's joining us right now, or perhaps later on, if he does then, I'm sure he'll tell us. But yeah, he said he called it. Absolutely. He said right when he had entered, Chuck, one of our members, one of our longtime students, at least inside the cyber group room, had mentioned that upon the market opening up. Now, short paid off for him, and from that point, only continued to drop, breaking new all-time lows, even going into the mid-morning there. So, for as much as this stock dropped, you would think, well, hey, when can it move back up? When will the shorts cover? When could we get a dead cat bounce, right? Well, when a stock breaks all-time lows, there's no historical support to work with, so it makes it extremely daunting or challenging to, anticipate that move. So it's to say, hey, we ended up having a nice little spike up going into the early afternoon here. It ended up snapping back above 925 there, ran up towards just about 950. Quick little 25 center. And for right now, it's trying to go back up a little bit. So I'll definitely put this back on our All right, really quick for all of us on social media, we're going to get everything back up and running within the next 1 minute. My apologies here. I got the blue screen of death here on my computer, so I had to reboot really quick. So my apologies, and we'll be back up and running here in the next probably minute. All right, folks, we are back and hopefully here to stay. So, without further ado, I think that we should just make efficient use of our time. What we'll do is go right from top to bottom now and continue to go through our list. TWOU, before I got my blue screen of death on my computer here from my home office. We put this on our watch list, right? We talked about at least the morning move. We put this on our afternoon watch list, I should say. And with that, let's just start with the top here BRCC. My fingers are going to be crossed here throughout the remainder of this meeting. Now, new IPO. We ended up seeing this stock make a big pop shortly after the market had opened up. Hey, all-time highs, right? Well, with that, ended up breaking down and making all-time lows. So, with that, it's just kind of range bound. It's trading 13,000 shares per minute, and that number could decline should the volume not tend to pick up here imminently. It also has really thin volume on the book. So, hey, this stock made a bit of a bounce earlier. If you made money on it, before, congrats. You might be more inclined to follow this stock yourself for the afternoon. I don't really feel really feel a great need to put the stock on our watch list here for right now. Maybe tomorrow. We'll check in with it tomorrow. If it trades a lot of volume come tomorrow morning pre-market, why not? All right, now I forgot to delete my lines, so a little treat. You'll get to see some of my pre-market lines that I have put up at least upon the market opening. So with that, AREB trying to get another go right now. It essentially broke under and over from 3, essentially held right from the next support level from 280 there. But with that, now it's on its way up to its next major level here off of 330 to 331. There was a pre-market iceberg level there prior to the open. So I'm expecting a false breakout here, the first test. You also have the VWAP at 335. But, hey, the stock is still very active for this time of the day. So we'll put this on our list here, too, alongside that TWOU. All right. I was about to say, actually, right before I got that blue screen of death, that I was not as prepared for this meeting to the point where I didn't have my pen here. So I'm doing this all Microsoft Word right now as well. AREB, TWOU to begin here for the afternoon. All right. So we keep it going, keep it moving. METX, I was about to say also, I'm like, damn, this is a cheapie. I probably shouldn't have clicked this. Like 21 cents. You could just tell that on the gainer side on the column. But man, what a run this is actually making here. So, I don't know. This is making a nice little afternoon move, but normally we don't really tend to trade the dollar stocks or tend to trade the stocks below a dollar. They normally don't make as concise of a run, but who knows? Maybe this could become the next, big trade that we can take, the next big runner that we've had here. Like BBIG or the SBEV trade lately, KAVL, SOPA. All these runners lately. IRNT perhaps. So IRNT also getting a nice push. Leda had just called that out. Norman, I'm sorry. Norman had just called that out inside the live trading room just a second ago, and making a very similar move to the AREB trade. Now, I would assume a false breakout here off resistance, and not to say off of 450, but more off of $4.55 there, 456. So just be a little wary of that here heading into this time of the day, but why not? I mean, hey, IRNT was more of a wild stock upon the market opening up, but it's making a nice second move here. So for right now, we'll put this back on. All right. I appreciate Chuck, by the way. I want to give Chuck C a quick shout out here inside the live trading room just because he had mentioned something as I was rebooting back up that I really appreciated. For any of our new trial members here, we've had a couple of little tech issues over the last 48 hours, we'll call it. That's probably the most amount of tech issues that we've had in a 48-hour period since I've been employed, since October of 14. So, I appreciate Chuck just bringing that up. That was actually really random for that to happen, extremely unusual. So, Chuck pointed that out as well as a longtime student. Thanks, Chuck. COE for right now, at least. Hey, it's flat. We're going to pass, at least for this trade. GLSI kind of at the highs, but trading poor volume here. EBON, nice runner. Hey, ended up moving up earlier with the market, or more with Bitcoin, perhaps, at least at first, but ended up dumping off at the same time the markets did. I think we ended up getting some headline out that they're looking to raise the rates by 0.5%, if I'm not mistaken, or that they should be. One of them came out, one of the main Fed people came out there and said that. I think the guy from St. Louis, Bullard, ended up making a bit of a drop off within the market, but that's the same time as to when EBON essentially ended up pulling back. It was doing really well up until that point. So, I don't know, good side list stock, but pass on here for the afternoon. All right, and onward we go. Let's see what else we got here across the gainer side. Markets were dropping off earlier, so there's probably more that's down or more that's on the loser side, but just want to skim through the gainer side here otherwise, see if there's any other familiar names. LU, we ended up following this off its IPO last year, I think, or maybe at the end of 20 it was, but it was just, hey, today ended up popping at the open. I think a couple of us called this one out. CLSK, this one actually still remains to be pretty tradable. It's shortable. So if it ends up making lower highs and dropping off with the market perhaps later on, there's a good opportunity, right? So, I could put this on our list. I'll come back to this one perhaps at the end. I would have no problem putting this stock on our main list here. Scrap trades, garbage. All right, let's see what else we got here, folks. Obviously, market's down, UVXY up, and all the other, inverse ETFs there. DD from the morning, a little slow, so that's probably the reason why we're not going to follow it here. Just not really doing a whole lot. All right, so that leaves us to the losers list for right now. So TWOU, and I was about to say, before I got my blue screen of death earlier here, had a reboot. I was about to tell you, I was in on 2 trades, Uber and AMC, and we will get to both of those. For right now, at least AMC is still looking really weak, so that's a great short to go with the market too. TWOU is already on our list, so that looks great for right now. A little slow or more exhausted, at least compared to the morning, but still could provide an opportunity. So that's a reason there. ASPU, I guess you could say the same, but I'm not going to put this one on. I'm not going to put both of them at least on the list. All right, so let's see what else do we have here. Actually, there's a lot of stocks that are pretty easy to borrow and shortable. APRN trade not doing a whole lot. I mean, you can say it's kind of towards the lows, but Vimeo, trying to squeeze up a little bit. Remember, Fausto is essentially saying, hey, heading into Friday here, especially heading into, this weekend with the big game coming up, you're going to see a bit of a wonky market, and especially now with the market that we're having, we should look for more shorts. But if there's something that's just kind of consolidating or slow or, not really trading that much volume per minute, then I would say it's just not worth it. Not worth the time. So let's check in on those trades right now, folks, really quickly. AMC first. I feel a little bit better about this position. Uber, I'm trading less shares on. So, if it ends up moving back up a little bit, it's fine by me. But it's to say, though, AMC was a great short this morning, not only off the market drop, but essentially for as much as it went up the last 3 days. Again, can't just keep going up forever. So, I was looking for this yesterday, and I was wrong yesterday. I was getting chopped up a little bit by AMC, trying to short it. I was setting my stops, so obviously I didn't get hurt too bad as it continued to go up. I realized that I was getting a little stubborn after some point. But nonetheless, though, this morning on AMC, I didn't go long. I was looking for this short going into that 20 level, and I had it at first. I had a good trade, actually, off the first short, but started to get chopped up at least later on, and then I ended up getting the short. So I'm currently in right now, and for all of our C2 students here, in on it, half of a position. So a tinier amount of shares compared to what I'm normally trading on AMC, but it's to say I'm in from 2040. So decent entry, at least right off of 2050, making the lower high going into the early afternoon. And then for right now, it's just holding support pretty nicely at 19. I wanted to hold on a bit longer to see if we would have one more drop with the market. AMC is not up or down a whole lot percentage-wise, but obviously, probably the fastest sideless stock that we have to offer, the most volatile sideless stock that we have. And I say that in terms of price, and I say that in terms of the amount that it moves per day. So there's probably, stocks that move more per day than this, but they're a lot more expensive. So, with that, AMC, I will put on our watch list here. And hey, if the markets move up, I'm going to get out of my position. That could be, in effect, a good opportunity for a little bounce, right? So just because I'm in it doesn't mean I'm going to put it on our watch list. I just want to make that known because, hey, there are plenty of times where, I'm in a trade and I don't find it to be that advantageous for all of us to follow into the close. So this one, I just seem to be, this one seems to be just a great stock to follow with the market in either direction. All right, then the other one, and we ended up seeing news come out from earlier. It was the Uber trade. This one is pushing back up a little bit, but I'm in on a smaller position on this. I'm in from 40, 39.95, I think my exact price is. But Rich had called out. Want to give Rich Liz a quick shout out here. One of our moderators inside the live trading room. He's probably cracking up hearing me shout him out right now. But really, he had called out the opening halt print on this trade. I mean, hey, it's exactly what we teach, right? It's exactly what I do myself inside the live trading room. So he was right on the punch to it. And I saw that from the live trading room. I was in on a coaching session with one of our students there, or just beginning it actually. And, I ended up just jumping in on a quarter size of a position, 250 shares for me here. It's an expensive stock. I'm not going to go head first on a lot of shares. But it ended up dropping off from that point and it made a really good reaction. So I said to myself, well, you know what? I have a small cushion. I'm not up really a whole lot on the day, but between AMC doing really well for me and this just kind of holding its own, I figured to hold on to this trade a little bit more freely. And for what it's worth, this one is trying to go back up a little bit more. It held off of like 38, 20-ish. You could probably, round that out to be. So, this one, if I end up just getting out, maybe it's off of 39. If it blasts over 39 pretty quickly, but otherwise, I'm going to hang on to this, though, in the meantime. So it actually looks like the SPY is trying to pull back down on my 5-minute chart. You can see it's beginning to make that lower high and, bit of a pullback right now with that AMC beginning to make its own little pullback here. So, or AMC, geez, Uber. I just caught myself there. Uber, not AMC there. I'm getting caught up in my own trades. But we'll put both on our watch list here for pretty much the same reason. Overall volatility, Uber off of news at least, opening up off the halt heading into the early afternoon. So we have a good list so far, folks. We have 5 stocks in total I typed out there. If there's anything else up, down, left, right, more than 5%, type it in the chat board. Just let me know. I appreciate everyone sticking with me here as I think I'm cursed throughout this week. Tech issues in the office, at least from yesterday and the day before, those are now resolved. Knocking on wood as I say that, but I don't know. I don't know what to tell you here. I came back to my home office here to do this meeting. I had the blue screen of death, so I appreciate everybody being patient. That's all. Chuck's asking about the ASTR. Let's see. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I mean, healthy inverse to the market right now. So how can we not, right? Did I skip this going down the list, or maybe it's just not up that much percentage-wise? But yeah, it looks great. Yeah, it wasn't up enough, I guess. Bonnie says AFRM, interesting move. Let's see. Jeez. Yeah, you can say that. Oh my God. I don't know what happened here. Normally I wouldn't, of course, trade an expensive stock or put it on a list, but obviously we are here. AFRM. And with that, let me quickly just try and jump on Benzinga Pro here and just see what the news is. Bonnie says that she thinks someone leaked earnings news. Yeah, Barclays issues a note after alleged earnings leak from Affirm, says the company's Twitter post points to a strong Q2 performance. And right now on Benzinga Pro, they just ended up posting the actual number right here. Believe it or not, I want to see if I can get this posted for all of us in social media and then for all of us inside the live trade room. This literally just came out in the last 10 seconds. Breaking news. We don't have any breaking news sound effect there, but there we go. That's the actual news right there. And they ended up missing the EPS. That also just came out over the last 2 seconds live. Aria says, buy the rumor, sell the news. Yeah, and they ended up getting halted, so they'll reopen up pretty soon, I'd imagine. AFRM, great call though, as far as just afternoon watch list stock though, for sure. All right, cool. And I'll tell you what, Peter was first to the punch on YouTube there, at least for the social stream. So shout out Peter, and then we have from RJF. He's asking about DCFC. I mean, it's volatile. It's trading, I'd say, enough volume per minute right now. I don't really have a great need to put this on our list. If you've done well on this stock over the last couple of days, it doesn't hurt to follow it here for the close. But if not, though, otherwise, then I'd rather you follow some of these here that we already have on the watch list. All right, I think that does it, folks. I got to jump onto a coaching call in about 7 minutes. I want to make sure the email is sent out, which is not. So, for all of us on social media, Facebook Live, I appreciate you sticking with me each and every day, especially this afternoon. So, once more, folks, if you have any other questions, feel more than free to send over a quick email, josh@ctutrading.com. Post that right here on YouTube right now. Otherwise, if you wanted to join us inside our live trading room, feel more than free to go right down to the link on the banner below. For all of us there right now, like Bonnie and Grant and Norman, Ari, James, I appreciate you folks being patient as well. I'm typing the list out to you live here as I'm speaking. So I look forward to talking to you folks coming up right at 3:30 Eastern time, taking us into the market close. Take care.